Hey everyone, it's Tenet Falconet, and I'm back with another Egg Cup match report, actually. So I actually won Verde Aqua, the Verde Aqua match, the high funds. No, so actually, I'm just gonna click on this. So the fun thing about this match is, it was high funds Viridia Aqua, which, if you don't know what high funds is, it's basically just double income. Meaning that you can get a lot more expensive units out, and the game tends to revolve around more expensive units like, I mean, battlecopters, I guess, as one of them, are really important in high funds, because you can actually afford all of them to spam them a lot more easily in high funds, whereas in just normal standard play, it's not as easy to spam them. You sort of have to give up stuff. But in high funds, you can sort of spam battlecopters, and then you can also afford easily afford actually larger units like neotanks and bombers. But only a couple of turn, maybe one or two a turn. So this is what Verde Aqua looks like. As you can see, player 2 actually starts with an extra infantry. Well, an extra 2 infantry. So you get a bit of an advantage there. But as you can see, it looks like it's supposed to be sort of a naval-centric map. But really, what that sort of ends up coming out to is it's still an air-centric map. And it's a mixed base map as well. You have like player 1, player 2, player 1 over here, player 2 over here, and then you have it's very mixed base. I like it a lot. You have basically, I guess, your strong side, although like it's in mixed base, it's a lot harder to determine what's a strong side and what's a weak side. So you have your 3 bases over here in one airport. But it's spread out over a large area, so it's not like you have a single production base where your units are going to be centralized and easy to work with each other. And then the other thing is this one base over here is cut off by this one base, one airport over here as well. And this is the corner over here is a very big production center as well, because it's far enough away from this base that it's hard to reinforce into this area from here. And it's also pretty hard to reinforce into this area from over here because of the forests. So basically, this area can just send... This area is basically sending units north and then maybe a little bit this way. This base is mainly trying to focus on taking these territories as well as this base. They're basically fighting over this area. And then same for here. And then these 2 bases fight around this sort of. Then you have these island cities, which is important to get troops on there to capture them, because even like a 2 property swing in high funds is like 4K. It's huge. Even though there's like so much money going on, that's sort of a drop in the bucket. It's still huge. And it'll give you an edge. It'll give you a massive edge. The other thing, you have the basically guaranteed comm towers right next to your corner base, and then oh yeah, you have your ports here. What you can do from these ports is send out battleships mainly, which you can back up with air units from here, so that your opponent can't really threaten them. So you guard them with battlecopters mainly, but also like bombers or fighters sent from your corner base into this central area. And if you have like a battleship, like now it's not too fine, you can't see range. But if you have like a battleship around here, it can zone out this base. And then it's zoning out a bunch of properties here. So it's a very good investment to get battleships in this one, actually. Battleships are viable. I think black boats can be viable. not only to transport units to these cities, but also to resupply your air units, because your airports are kind of far away from each other, and it's if you can also, like, a lot of the time your air units are going to be hiding in the straits, I guess, in the water areas over here in order to stay away from your opponent's anti-air. If you can't tell already, Hyphens is super. There's a lot to it. There's a lot going on. But yeah, then you also have these harbors as well, these ports as well, which you can sort of send naval units in here. Like, you have a 2-to-1 port advantage here, but it's because naval units are so expensive, it doesn't really matter. You're not really going to be seeing much other than a battleship maybe, and then potentially like a sub to try and counter the battleship if there's too many air units in the area. And then maybe a cruiser after that. Cruisers are okay, but like just look at the even I should put this over so that's about right. I'm gonna probably close it and open it a bunch. But even Eagle battle, so like against Eagle battlecopters, even a Drake cruiser takes half health damage from it, which is just looking at the numbers down here, it's like not even remotely effective for you to build cruisers. Yeah, so I guess rule set for this game. That's important. Hyphens Verdia Aqua versus Egg Cup Verdia Aqua. So, top. You want top. So, let's do. There. So there's top. Top tier Verdia Aqua. Kanbei is actually usually banned, but Sensei is not. Because even though Sensei has like crazy good infantry spam, because Neotanks can basically always one-shot infantry, and I think mechs too. And because you can afford Neotanks really easily in Hyphens, and also battlecopters. Battlecopters are super important, but because infantry are so weak in Hyphens, and are mainly just used for capturing and then maybe fighting over infantry, but like because they can be knocked out so easily and by Neotanks, that means you can't really infantry wall as effectively as you can in standard, meaning that Sensei is actually only tier 1, not tier 0 as he normally is in standard. Kanbei is banned in this mainly because I believe it's going to have to do with his battleships or something like that. Because, yeah, it's... it'll be battleship... Kanbei battleship... Yeah, it's... like, look at that. It's only taking, like, a fifth. Like, no. No. That's not a lot. Kanbei is good enough in Hyphens as it is. With his crazy defense on like Neotanks and stuff, even though he can be countered fairly effectively because bombers can get through that and not take any damage. So, and his units are super expensive anyways in Hyphens, so that's why he's in tier 1 normally, but he's banned because battleships are viable. And they take... The normal counter for battleships is like battlecopters, but Kanbei's battleships... you can't counter them with battlecopters, so... I think that's why he's banned in this map normally. I think it's... Sensei is banned in Egg Cup because it's just annoying to deal with his spam. And... that's basically it. Sensei battles can drone on for a long time, so... And because there's the 30-day limit as well, um, that makes Sensei a lot better, because he can just spam out infantry and charge them and capture a little bit of stuff with that crazy capture, and it's like... if he takes the advantage, it's basically over. If he takes like an early income advantage, he can just keep properties indefinitely. So I think that's why he's off here. And then Nell is allowed because Luxias are allowed because egg cup things. Stealths are banned, and black bombs are banned as normal. But I think that's it. That's the only real difference. Other than the normal egg cup things with 30-day limits, and then reday time, just the time difference, because it's tournament, so it needs to be a little bit needs to be a little bit of a time clock, shorter of a time clock than normal global league. I think I've gone over most of what I want to say about the map already, but basically, oh wait, that's global league. So in tier 1, unless you want to pick Nell, because funny, like, Nell, the thing about Nell is she's basically got an extra 10% day-to-day firepower from her luck damage. But I don't know. Well, actually, it's more of a... It's more of a... It's more of a 5% because it averages to 10. So I don't think Nell is like super strong on this, but you could pick Nell, I guess, for luck reasons. The other options are Eagle, Hawk, and Olaf. Eagle is what my opponent picked, and he's actually very good on mixed base, because when he pops his lightning strike, what he can do is he can basically charge in with his units, and then build units from his bases, and then charge in with him again. So normally what you want to do against Eagle is make a big push against him before he pops his power, so that you're weakening his units as much as possible, so that it's harder for him to push with his lightning strikes. So basically you're trying to weaken his lightning strike, which is, if you don't know, if you haven't played against Eagle with a very good lightning strike, it's super, super powerful, just being able to take another turn. You can do so much with it, it's ridiculous. On mixed base like this, it's even more terrifying because you have airports like here and here, which means that you have like a very large area in which it's sort of a no-fly zone, because you could just build a fighter and then send it in and just kill stuff with it. Same with bombers, actually. You can't have really expensive units within 7 tiles of these airports, otherwise they will just be defeated by bombers, random bombers. And then if you push in too heavily against him, because he has production centers all over the place, you could just spam, build a Neo tank anywhere and then just delete your units with that. Or if you just have, if your formation isn't even good enough, you can just build extra light units and charge with that. So Eagle's Lightning Strike is very, very powerful. It costs the exact same amount as Hawk's superpower, which is Black Storm. Hawk's pretty good. I picked Hawk because, well, mainly because he and Eagle are the main two people who are played in this map. 56 to 59. 59 is bigger than 56, and I haven't had much luck playing Eagle in the past, although he's really good in this map. And I didn't know that before playing this. But Eagle is super strong in this map. But anyways, yeah, Hawk's just my go-to, just because it's so easy to use him. Because his powers are super flexible as well, because you can choose. Because you have enough time to use Move Planner in this tournament, you can just basically calculate how much you're gonna be able to get with his powers. I didn't spend too much time in Move Planner this time, actually. Um, but there's that, and then Olaf. I like Olaf in this map like, a lot because Winter Fury, not only does it cost, it costs only like 7, which is less. Not only it's less than both Eagle and Hawk, meaning he's always going to get his superpower before either of them. It also causes snow for a turn, and what that does is it freezes your opponent's air units, basically. It has their move, which it just cripples Eagle's lightning strike. It's so good against Eagle. Against Hawk, it's not quite as good because Hawk can always just save up a little bit more after that point if you don't make a big enough push with the with your Winter Fury and just pop his Wax Storm after that and then heal up all the damage that you caused from Olaf's superpower. So you have to like time it correctly. So the funny thing about these three COs, it's sort of rock paper scissors almost. With Eagle sort of beating Hawk sometimes. Hawk sort of beating Olaf sometimes, and Olaf basically always beating Eagle, honestly. Even though Eagle does have better area units day to day, but his name that doesn't matter. The naval attack does not matter. Some of you might be asking about Drake because he's the naval CO. This is supposed to be a naval map. No. You can't use him in this map and it's mainly because of this air units attack debuff. It's so freaking bad. Now the +1 movement is good. I actually like Drake a lot in tier 2 on this map. I think he's top of tier 2, so if none of these guys were allowed, I would probably actually pick Drake. But like he can't compete with Hawk or Olaf or Eagle. It's just not gonna work. I think chart. Yeah, boats in snow do not do well. For one thing, that's basically all you need to know. Like even against Olaf, which I think is the weakest of the three, honestly, Drake can't stand a chance to. So yeah, that's right. That's about it. Don't play Drake in tier 1, please. Even on this map, no. Even though there's a couple of nice things that you can do with Drake, like he can use cruisers to move against here, and you can use battle black belts as well against here. But like the damage debuff to his air units is so bad. Anyways, I've been rambling for like almost 20 minutes already, just about the preamble. But luckily, I don't think that the actual match should take too long. There's going to be a couple things of note, but I'm mainly going to be talking about macro for this. As you can see here, mainly just going for production centers as soon as possible. Because you have so much money early on, you can easily just go for in high funds, you can actually just go for airports early, and it's basically as effective as going for a base early. In this map in particular, you don't actually have to go for bases early because they're all captured already. But I would say even if you have the choice between going for a airport and a base in high funds, it's about an even question as to, it's actually a pretty big question as to what you will do. I think bases are probably a little bit better because you can still infantry spam from them, whereas you can't really do that from airports. But because you have so much money in high funds, also check out the left corner, top left corner. Bruh. that was due to playing on mobile. That was a misclick due to playing on mobile. So that's an enormous setback as well. When I did that, I was like, ah, because that's like But not only is that 2,000 funds just from that, but like I've also limited my movement as well. It's so bad. Anyways. Yeah, so he's got early in artillery out. Artillery I really like in high funds. They're very, well, they're sort of effective against neo tanks, but they're very effective against most light vehicles. And they're good against neo tanks in open terrain at least. But as you can see here, oh, the other thing is my opponent was the first person who made the first vehicle, whereas I opted to just keep on spamming infantry to start out with. And that's sort of a weird thing in high funds, actually, is you want to spend like the first few turns just spamming infantry, because you need to get them out early in order to have the capture game, because capture game is so freaking important in high funds just because of how much money you can get from each property. But you also want to get vehicles out early, you want to get like battlecopters and stuff out early, so it's a delicate balance of choosing when to start building vehicles. It's always pretty okay to once you get your airports up to start doing like hyper transport or even battlecopters early on, because they're not taking up the base slot from the infantry. But if you're the first one to build a vehicle, you better be sure to capitalize on that. I think this is my opponent's. My opponent doesn't actually play high funds. Like, let's go over his profile real quick. He has a really high rating. It's kind of scarily high, but he doesn't play high funds in League, so I think he wasn't exactly ready for the high fund experience. Even though he played really well in this match, I will say that. But I feel like if he had played even a handful, even like 5 Global League, like 2 or 3 Global League high funds matches, he would have been a lot better probably for this. Even though he is ahead right now. His capture game is ahead right now. So he's got a lot of stuff built out. But I went for the early Neo tank here because like he can't really do much against it here. And I took out his battlecopter as well with the anti-air, because not only does because I knew that, and it's mainly because I could move onto the city. Like the artillery was in range, and I figured, okay, he'll take a pot shot off of me, and that'll get me to like half health. But a half health anti-air is still actually really effective, even against Eagle battlecopters. They still can do like 6 damage, which is basically enough to cripple a battlecopter still. And because battlecopters can't heal on bases, it's basically going to be stuck doing attacks on like infantry and stuff. And then it'll be just whittled down by that eventually. So that's why that's important. He's going for he's got a good capture game going. So that's fun. He's got battlecopters coming out. Honestly, I feel like he should have probably done more battlecopter spam, because Eagle gets better battlecopters to get day to day. He would have been able to overwhelm me with them. He can afford it as well because it's high funds. Battlecopters are actually a pretty good counter against neo tanks as well. Well, especially Eagle battlecopters, like neo tank, like this is always going to be an effective trade. Even though it does like the same amount of damage to each other, that's like super good because neo tanks cost like twice as much as battlecopters. So my opponent did really well early game, but then he sort of stalled out a bit. So as you can see, I'm going in for cap interrupts with my infantry, and then I'm going for pretty aggressive caps, honestly. I wasn't really convinced that he would just let me take them. He gets a nice artillery shot off here. Like, it's still doing 3 damage. Don't get me wrong, it's really nice, but it's like not as good as it could be. He's leaving his artillery very open to an attack from my other guys as well. And he, instead of going for the interrupt here on his property, by the way, that's his property, meaning it's going to be not only two, it's going to be a 4K income swing because I'm taking 2 from him and getting 2. So this is a pretty important property that he's just letting me get. He could have even like suicided with this 4 health infantry, and that would have been fine because it would have delayed me for at least another turn. But he didn't go for that. If he didn't want to just go for the artillery, but like now he's moving, he has enough stuff to move in. I feel like it might have been a misclick that he didn't do that, but oh well. But like, yeah, infantry are not going to be able to good defensively in high funds. I'm just going to say that because you're generally going to be wanting to build a lot of anti-air to deal with it. Not only battlecopter spam, but also to try and dissuade your opponent from building more expensive air units like fighters and bombers. So, and then because anti-air is so good against infantry, that's another reason why they're pretty bad in high funds. Like, look at that. Knocked off right there. This was a bit of a misplay. I should have probably attacked from here because, well, you'll see in a bit. I go here for healing mainly. Get a bit of a cap there, mainly because I didn't want to worry about my other unit. Because it would have been just taken out anyways, so. And I sort of wanted him to stay back. I didn't really want him to advance. He takes out my Captain Infantry there. And, like, if you want to, you could pop Lightning Drive now. But no, there's, no, that's a bad idea. never pop Lightning Drive. Especially in high funds, like. And then just look at the damage here. Like, look at that. That's beautiful. Beautiful amount of damage there. And then after that, like, 1 damage from the weakened artillery. Like, it doesn't hurt. It helped a little bit, but like I have another Neil thing back here, and I have anti-air, so that's good. And then this was a pretty good turn for me. I feel like I might have done a little bit better if I were playing Olaf, but again, Olaf is sort of countered by Hawk because he has the extra 10% attack, and then he just heals up after Olaf's superpower anyways, so I think Hawk's the better idea here. But if I had Olaf's superpower in the snow, it would have done so much more damage to Eagle, and it would have prevented him from doing his next turn. Because, like, look at his power meter. He's definitely going to get a lightning strike next turn. I will say this was a bit aggressive on my part, moving down here like that. And then I move in here. Like, look at that. I think that this was a bad idea. This was definitely a bad idea, and then this was an okay idea. But it was pretty aggressive considering that he's going to get his lightning strike. Like, I was not at all prepared for the lightning strike. I'm going to be completely honest. Like, at this point, I'm like, oh shit, he's gonna get his lightning strike now. And then I just did this as a sort of panic move. I got a third Neo Tank here because this way he's not going to be able to push as aggressively with this Neo Tank because he'll just get countered by mine here. I did this mainly for map control. And then I just built infantry and battlecopters as well. As you can see, this is like textbook lightning strike. With, like, the only thing that I probably would have done differently if I were him was do battlecopter tank instead of the bomber here, and then just build other units around here so that he has more stuff to work with. But that's really it. Like, this is a very good lightning strike. Like, he gets 1 shot off on that first tank. He takes out my battlecopter. I mean my battlecopter. With that, and then he almost takes out my anti-air. And then he pops lightning strike, takes out my anti-air for free, basically. And Like, if he had a tank here, he could have taken this out, and then gotten the first strike on the anti-air with the tank. But I feel... honestly, it probably wouldn't have one-shot, and I think that's what he was going for. Because... we go... tank into anti-air on the show with powers up. So it would have done 7. But that would have been fine. Because he could just move in with the battlecopter anyways and finish it off. So I think my light unit spam would have been a better idea. But this is fine too. He's got a bomber out. If he works properly with it and takes advantage of that, he could be doing pretty well with that if he pushes properly with it. I'm taking the artillery shot as well there. Honestly, I think it's okay, but he's also sort of limiting his unit count a little bit by doing that. He could have had more infantry if he wanted it. But here's my turn. I think, like, he put his battlecopter over to cut off my anti-air. I don't think he really expected how much damage Neo tanks do to battlecopters. Like, it's a lot if they get the first strike from full health. Like, they consistently do like 2 damage. So I just went for it, knowing that. It could have been a bit bad if I didn't get the luck roll. So, yeah. Instead, I'm able to move down here and cut off this, which is important. It's very important that I cut this off, because this is my property. If you were able to cut that, like, well, I mean, it's not like, look at the income lead. I had this. Here's the thing. My opponent just let me capture a bunch of these properties early on, and then he didn't really... there was just this massive income difference. Like, that's 14k. That's like 2 tanks. It's like a battlecopter and 5 infantry. Like, you get so much shit with that money. It's like half a Neo tank. More than half a Neo tank. Like, it's so much money, and it just goes to show how good my opponent was to be able to keep fighting against that for so long. And also how good Eagle's superpower is. It's super, super good. So my opponent moves in here, and he goes for this cap. Actually takes out my infantry here and gets a nice cap there as well. He had the infantry at like 8 health there, I think. Maybe 9 health. But it healed and then moved in for a good cap. Another thing that you always want to do is keep your infantry at full health if you can. It's super relevant in high funds just because of how important capping is, because of the income swings. So he moves in with his bomber like this to sort of threaten my Neo tanks here. I think that was a bit of a misplay, as you will see in a second. So I moved down with my fighter. Oh, he also left his artillery up into my tank like that. So I was able to just move in like that. I almost killed that. Like, that's the other thing about Hawk's firepower. It's really nice for just pushing through infantry day to day. Like, even just a 10% is good. And then this is a very clean one-shot on the planes. Like, I think this guy would have been able to, especially like Citadel Hawking, I think, even into a city, kill all his one-shot. And that's part of the good thing about playing Hawk. Even without Hawk, it's very likely to kill, but with Hawk, it's guaranteed with 1 comm tower. So yeah, move in with the infantry here, moving things sort of around the bomber so that next turn I can move in and just take it out with my fighter if I want. Honestly, like, look at how much money he has. He should have definitely built a bomber in the bottom left. I mean, a fighter. Because And then he should have left his bomber in range of it, like here somewhere. So that it overlapped and he's protecting it with his fighter. Where as opposed to this, where his bomber was able to take like, was it? Yes, it was able to take out a full anti, which was nice. But after that, he wasn't really able to do much with it, and it's gonna die next turn, basically guaranteed. Like not really guaranteed, but kind of basically guaranteed. And if he wants to be able to do anything with it. And like, he could take out the anti-air, I guess? Which wouldn't be bad. 16k, the 22k bomber isn't like off. Oh, I also go for the battleship here. And my plan here was to move in and just zone out all of this. Battleships are super good in this area or in this area. They're less good in this area because you have less things to push into. Like, you're threatening less things from this area, but they're also nice, I guess. Carrier could be funny. Although, kind of bad to do that. And then he does a good job against this Neo Tank, but like, I'm going to be able to push in here. He finally goes for a fighter. He should have had that last time. And then he moves in with his stuff around here. He's sort of being very defensive because he can't really break through this wall with just these units. He'd need like a anti-air, which he has now. Or a Neo Tank or something. So he moves in over here on the right and then he resigns. Anyways, so I think the reason he resigned was I'm about to move in with my battlecopters here. He's not like, I can even move in with the Neo Tank, with the battleship, depending on how he moves with his battlecopter, and then there's not like too much he can do in this area because I've got 2 tanks that he can't really move in against. If he moves in against it with the battlecopter, I can just swarm in with my battlecopters for 3 over here. Like, he'll take out half of the battlecopter with this anti-air, but it's not going to be like, I still have 2 more, and then like 1.5 battlecopters is actually enough to wipe out his 1 battlecopter here. He's also out of money, which I think was the main reason why he lost, is he just let me take stuff. He just let me capture things for free when he could have contested it. And like, the longer that you let me hold on to those properties, the more money I get to build up, and the more I'm able to just build forces up over here, build expensive units like this battleship here, so I can start threatening this area like crazy and stuff like that. So that's high funds. I feel like my opponent wasn't too ready for high funds overall, but he did play really well, considering. As far as like the encounters and stuff went, he went very well. I just think he could have done better with more of a macro of high funds. But that's it for today's update on my match. Next time will be when I'm done with the Darkling. This is a stupid match. It's standard with just the Luxios. So, yeah, this is gonna be a very stupid match. I don't know who I'm matched up against yet. So, depending on who it is, this could be very easy or very obnoxious. Or both. So stay tuned in for that, like, subscribe, and all that nonsense. And I will see you for the next part of Egg Cup, whenever I'm done with it. Bye for now.